Peter King from Sports Illustrated joining us, the Dan Patrick Show, of course, is Monday Morning Quarterback, where you can lift information if you'd like every Monday at SI.com. Peter joins us now. Hi, Pete.
So, Dan, I'm driving along yesterday, and I hear you lift said information as though you thought of it yourself.
Well, wait a minute. What was the information
The information was that Tom Brady was 27 when he won his last Super Bowl, and he'll be 36 when he lines up under center next September. And Bill Belichick will be 61. And I said, according to Peter King's Monday Morning Quarterback. But that was slightly missing in your riff at that moment.
I learned when I was at the mothership, Peter. I should have said sources tell me. So, I'm still trying to.
Multiple sources say that Brady will be 36 next year.
You know what? I blame that on my staff. I blame it on McLevin. They gather information, and nobody said that Peter King put this in his Monday Morning Quarterback.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you this. I think your staff ought to be assassinated.
Wow. I've thought about that, too. They can't execute, so I'd like to have them executed. All right, a couple of things to talk about. By the way, we've been reenacting the Tom Brady slide with Ed Reed. What did you see on that play?
This is a ridiculous statement to make, and I feel like a total buffoon saying it, but I'm sitting down this morning. I'm watching the Patriots-Ravens game because when you cover a game, and I was in Atlanta, when you cover a game and you're 55 years old and after the game you say, I've got so much to do, and you get in the bus back to the hotel, and by the time you turn on the TV in the third quarter, that play is over, then you turn off the TV, and then you don't see the highlights, and then you hear all of the stuff from later in the night and everything that happened with the Brady slide. And I did not see a highlight of the Brady slide until very late yesterday afternoon. So now I'm going to watch it this morning, and I'm going to watch it 3 or 4 times and see what it looked like. It didn't look good to me. I'd like to watch it 3 or 4 times and run it back to see it more closely than just once.
But I'm not sure what Brady gets out of this if he was actually trying to hurt Ed Reed. So I'm just trying to apply logic to it to say, Why would he do it? Was he clumsy, which he looks like he's clumsy every time he runs, but his feet do go up in the air. But I'm trying
No question about it. I mean, I think it's a good question for him. You know, what did you mean at the time? What were you trying to do at the time? And now knowing the way that the media world works, and especially around Brady, there's a good chance he's not going to talk to a reporter for about 5 more months.
Well, unless he gets,
I don't know.
Yeah, unless he gets paid by the WEEI in Boston, that he does interviews with them. So maybe they've asked him about that. Belichick not talking to CBS concern you?
Well, here's the thing I thought of immediately when I first heard about this, and actually I first heard about this on your show yesterday when you guys were talking about the Shannon Sharp deal. I mean, I guess I would look at it this way. Bill Belichick satisfied his media obligations after the game. I've been around him enough to know, though I haven't talked to him in a while, I've been around him enough to know that most often he's going to satisfy his media obligations and really not do much more beyond that. I'd be curious to know, after any other previous championship game loss, which he's had, 2 now? Before his previous championship game loss, if he did an interview then either. And I don't know if he did or not, but that would be the question I'd ask.
I think he did one in previous years with Solomon Wilcox, but I'm just trying to go from memory there. But look, if it's not mentioned by Shannon Sharp, I don't think anybody cares about it. But
it's not really that big a deal to me. And, look, I haven't talked to Bill Belichick in 5 years, and I don't know that I'll ever talk to him again. So I don't say that with any personal, I can't say anything bad about Belichick. He might not talk to me. He doesn't talk to me anyway. So, I look at it this way. In that situation, honestly, I believe strongly that you're better off listening to whoever the Patriots put out there than listening to Bill Belichick, because he's going to be totally non-anything anyway.
Yeah, he's bland.
I'd rather have I assume they put a player out instead of him.
Yeah. He's bland on purpose. I mean, it's a game plan that he has in there. We're talking to Peter King from Sports Illustrated, his Monday morning quarterback at SI.com. All right, a couple other things here. And I was also talking about this with Belichick. Do we dislike, or do people dislike the Patriots? Is it because of Belichick, or is it because that they're successful or as close to a dynasty as we've had?
I think it's a combination of both. I think people get tired. I think one of the things that you learn about covering the NFL is that there are people who love the Patriots and there are people who love to hate the Patriots the same way that they love to hate the Steelers, they love to hate all the Raiders, they love to hate all these teams that had a lot of long-term success. The one difference here is that the Spygate thing happened. I remember I went to Afghanistan with the USO to do some reporting on a USO trip in 2008, and I'll never forget this. I mean, those soldiers, other than the ones from Brockton and the North End and and Andover, other than those guys, they detested the Patriots because of Spygate. They don't like cheaters, and they viewed the Patriots as cheaters.
Did you see the story with Tim Brown saying that Bill Callahan threw the Super Bowl game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
I just saw that. It looks like the height of silliness to me. I mean, I'm not in their locker room, and I don't know everything that Tim Brown meant, but what would be the motivation of a coach to do that exactly?
Well, he said that Callahan, good friends with Gruden, and that Callahan had a problem with the Raiders organization, so he put in a new game plan on Friday of Super Bowl week. And he said nobody puts in a new game plan, and you have line calls, and everything's changed there.
Yeah.
Now, I would think the logic is you would have done it earlier, and you did change it because Gruden knew everything you were going to do because he knew all your
That was the point. When I read that, I said, well, obviously he's doing that. You know what I thought of when I first read that? I thought that Bill Callahan's doing that because he knows that John Gruden still has friends on the team. And it was the Raiders over the years have been a weird organization, and who knows what would motivate some people in the organization. Would some people be yakking? And I'm not accusing anybody of anything. I'm just trying to think of what if I'm seeing what Bill Callahan allegedly did. I'm thinking not that he's doing it to screw up the Raiders. I'm thinking he's doing it because he thinks maybe some news about what they're planning to do has gotten back to Gruden somehow.
Chip Kelly had a comment about Michael Vick, said he had a good meeting with Michael Vick. Considering that roster bonus that they have to pay him in a couple of weeks, chances of Michael Vick sticking with Chip Kelly in Philadelphia?
Well, as Mike Florio reported on NBC, Michael Vick has no intention whatsoever of giving the Eagles a hometown discount. I don't know if you're the Eagles how you pay Michael Vick all that money. I think Vick is either going to have to reconsider what he wants to do contractually. I just can't imagine the Eagles coming off the seasons that he's had recently, both because of injury and because of performance. I can't imagine him. I can't imagine any team paying Michael Vick $15 million.
If Kaepernick was considered a rookie, in baseball he would have been with his lack of playing time, obviously his rookie year. But if you had all these guys and you were listing them as rookies with Luck and RG3 and Russell Wilson, him, Alfred Morris, who would be your rookie of the year if you included Kaepernick in that class?
Absolutely not Kaepernick. I mean, not even – he wouldn't be in my top five. I mean, you vote on Rookie of the Year after the last game of the regular season. Mm-hmm. You don't vote for it after a 181-yard rushing game against Green Bay. I voted for Russell Wilson. It was very, very close. I could have voted for RG3, could have voted for Luck, but I think Russell Wilson was the best rookie all around over a 16-game regular season.
What did you think of Russell Wilson's agent saying that he's underpaid? He outperformed his contract that he signed as a rookie.
There's no doubt he outperformed his contract he signed as a rookie, but, that's why the NFL works so hard to get this rookie wage scale so that, you can redo your contract when your contract is up, the way America works.
Manti Te'o, don't know if you follow, you care, I guess, moving it forward, if you've spoken to anybody, personnel guys.
Dan, I had a really good conversation with a guy last week with a general manager on Friday who had Manti Te'o before the underclassmen came in. He said to me, look, we got him either 8th or 10th. He wasn't looking at his board when I talked to him this day. He said, when we just have seniors, he said, we got him 8th or 10th on our board. So that is a very exalted number, a very exalted ranking. And obviously, when the juniors come in, it'll go down. So maybe he'll be around 20. But he said in these situations, what we will do is we will either hire an investigator or we will just send one of our scouts out for a couple of weeks to investigate everything about this story. Go to Notre Dame, go to Hawaii, go wherever he has to go to learn everything he can about what happened in this situation and about the character of Manti Te'o. So, and I think this won't be rare. All these teams are going to say to their scouting staff and to their quite frankly, they're investigators, because teams have investigators. They're going to say to them, come back on February 20th, and I want a full report. So when we go to the scouting combine and we have our interview with Manti Te'o, we're going to be able to ask him questions. And the key there is, Dan, they want to ask him questions that they already know the answers to, so that if Manti Te'o tells them an answer that they didn't expect, that they'll know he's lying. I mean, that's what teams do at the scouting combine with character cases. That's what they'll do with Manti Te'o.
Good stuff, Pete. I'll see you next week in New Orleans.
Sounds great, Dan. Take care.
All right, Peter. Peter King. His stuff is so good, you can lift it right off the pages and use it on the program.